which brings up the fact when you're using the Gale model, you'll type in, it asks if a woman's had atypical hyperplasia, and it just clicks in yes, and it spits out a number, but she might have had that biopsy 20 years ago, and so it may not even be a risk factor for her anymore. And that's the way it plays in. I think those are too fuzzy to read, but this is a worksheet I use, and I just use multiple models, and here I have 3 different models that all agree that woman's risk is roughly going to be the same no matter what model. Sometimes they disagree, and you got to figure out which of the models is really going to be closest and best for her situation. And the way I use that is then we know that tamoxifen and probably raloxifene, we're all guilty of jumping to conclusions, but we think both these drugs are going to reduce the risk of breast cancer by about a half. We call those drugs SERMs. And if you calculate a woman's risk over a defined period of time, then theoretically you're going to drop it in half with 5 years of tamoxifen use. And so I use that as a visual representation when I'm talking to somebody about using one of these agents. Deeper still, that is moving on into genetic testing, which is a relative of risk assessment. And Mark Skolnick led the team. Everyone claims they were the one. Mary Claire King and Mark Skolnick debate really who found it. He got credit, though, for actually sequencing the BRCA1 gene. And I had the opportunity to be his host for 2 days. This is how I got into it as a surgeon. He came to Oklahoma City for a celebration, and I ended up being his host for